All right. So today's review is on a very special IEM. And I'll tell you why it's special in a second. But first, I have to say thank you to a very special friend and a very special friend of the channel, A Screaming, because he's given me an opportunity to review a lot of his amazing collection. And I wouldn't have been able to without him. So special thanks to him. Sammy over at Rhapsodio is a very, very wild man. He's made some crazy, awesome creations like the Supreme V3, like just some awesome, awesome, awesome IEMs. Well, today we're going to do a very special one from him. It actually has 22 balance armatures per side, not total, per side. So that's like 44. That's crazy. So we are going to be doing the Rhapsodio Infinity Ultra. So since this is a personal set, we're not going to go through our normal unboxing. We'll just talk about the IEM. So the Rhapsodio Infinity Ultra is $3,599. It's got 22 balanced armatures in it. So two BAs for low range, two BAs for low range sub, four BAs for low, medium, and high range, two in the mid-high range, four in the high range, four in the super high range. So that's a total of 22 of wildness. And as you can see, the cool thing about the shell is that you can literally see every single one of them. And it's cool that some of them are capped with a logo as well. All right, so for the Rhapsodios, let's talk about fit and finish. This is a very large shell on the large side. So it's not small by any means, but then again, the way it's contoured, it doesn't make it uncomfortable either. Weight, I would say, is medium, but I feel like once you get them in and get them comfortable, it's not an issue. I haven't had any issues listening to them for a long time. So again, fit and finish, pretty good. And I just love how if you really wanted to sit here, you could count all the individual balanced armature drivers within it because, again, they're 22. So I like that since it's such a crazy engineering feat, you're allowed to actually see how it was done and the tubing and everything. It's pretty cool. The cable that comes with it is nice. It's a nice silver cable, a little bit on the thin side, but haven't had any issues with microphonics or anything like that. So all in all, it's pretty cool. All right, so how does the Rhapsodio Infinity Ultra sound? Very good. So again, so there are 22 drivers per side, and I feel like this is more of a neutral tuned IEM. So, but you've got this monster note weight, but you've got this monster resolution, and you've got this glorious soundstage. So let me explain. So let's say, for example, you're listening to something like Bill Lawrence and Michael League, and you just get this wall of glorious sound with so much resolution. There's depth to it. It's separated. All the musical notes have their own place, and it's just a glorious, great sounding sound to it. Let's start off with bass. So it's balanced armature bass, but it's very textured. It's fast bass, keeps up with everything, and it's got a very good punch to it. Now, it's not going to be bass head level punch, but it will keep up with what you're listening to. So either some Bad Guy or something like that, or some new Kendrick, it'll thump when it needs to thump. The mids are where it's at when it comes to being able to pull out emotion out of like a female or male singer. If they're getting emotional, the detail, the resolution is there. And I feel like there's a fine line between resolution and musicality. And I think some IEMs have way too much resolution and they lose their musicality. And that's what makes them, in a sense, more analytical and more dry and not as engaging. Well, a few people can pull off that very fine line and have something that's extremely resolute, or a lot of resolution, but also is musical at the same time. And I think that's like kind of a magical tuning. And this is where these fall into place because, again, their price is, mid 3000s, but the resolution says, I can fight with all y'all up there, like the APX, the Macbeth, uh, soon to be Quill Satin. Like it literally can fight with those, but it keeps its musicality where if you like that neutral tuning where nothing sticks out too much, and you want that depth in the music, and you listen to a lot of classical or jazz or um, even pop music, it can do very well. It can do a lot of musics very well. Now, it's going to be on the warmer side just because of the thickness. Like the weights hit. Like it's not going to be light. But I think I mentioned in the 20 BA set, the Steranko, that I have the Bloom from Bill Lawrence test track. In fact, you can actually use a lot of that album. Not the second one. The second one's one of my favorite ones. I can't remember the name of it, but the second track is just sends chills. And that's where this IEM does extremely well because you've got the violins and you've got the piano, and there's just this separation, and you feel like the piano's kind of going over your head, and it's just the stage on these is wild. Um, I feel like sometimes some people that are really great at tuning things like to flex. And I feel like this is a flex IM, being it has that many drivers working coherently, and it's just such a beautiful way that they just it's a great sounding IM. A very neutral DAP or amp is great for these. I wouldn't put them with tubes because it's already thick and it can make it a little bit muddy. Um, but like just pound for pound as an experiment into an IEM, I think this is a phenomenal sounding IEM. Classical, it sounds great. Um, Old jazz, new jazz, use of days, Yellow Jackets. I don't think I got to the treble. The treble is very good too because there's an airiness to it, which allows for the separation and the resolution, but it doesn't go too harsh where, I don't know. It's a sound in my ears that sometimes it sounds like to me. But when it's too much resolution or there's too much treble, spike. But this is beautiful treble. Manu Yellow Jackets, uh, Polyphia, and all my other guys, the cymbals sound really, really great. So, and you've got a lot of detail in there, which is nice because then that allows for, you have good bass detail, good mid detail, and then you've got excellent treble detail, which just makes it a very nice, cohesive sound that's very musical. And it can flex. It's a very darn good IM. So is this a buy? If you want a good neutral set, like better than good, an excellent neutral set, just forget about the amount of drivers in it, but just such a well-tuned, actually a very good bang for the buck IM because I feel like resolution-wise, it's up here. I think musicality is up here. Build is up here. Being able to see all the drivers inside, it's a very cool IM. Something like I wish over here we had the stores that you can go in and just try out all the IMs because this is definitely, if I was going to make a list, and I know I've got one commenter that just won't leave me alone, I will make my list one day. But if there was a list of IMs to check out, then this is definitely one that you should check out. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask, and I'll see you in the next video.